Welcome to Fans Assemble, where we come together to talk about all the things we fan over, like comic books, movies, sports, or anything else that we love. We hope you enjoy the show. Welcome back to Fans Assemble, everybody. And today, Ray and I are continuing our holiday countdown here. Last time we talked about, I believe, was the Justice League Comfort and Joy episode, where we talk about how, what does Justice League do during the holidays. Then we talked about also Spider-Man Miles Morales. And also we broke down a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. And all those are great. We're trying to get you guys to watch all of these for the holidays. Something different, something refreshing. You don't have to watch. I enjoy watching my Christmas traditions. I love It's a Wonderful Life. I watch it every year, but sometimes it's nice to break it up a little bit with something a little bit new and different, and that's what Ray and I are trying to do here. So next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated show. We remember we did the holiday special already. We're doing the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon that came around 2015. And they had a really good episode about, I believe it's called Jingle Bell Rock. It's one of the later episode 26 of season 1. It was Ray's idea to do this one. So if it's absolutely awful, you look to him. So we're just going to basically talk about the episode, why you should watch it. We're going to give you a little bit of things we like, but, Ray and I basically, we make this a discussion about the show. But most of the time we talk about the episode and what makes the episode great for why you should watch it during the holidays. So, and it's a good perspective because, some of you guys who are big comic book fans, you're like, kids' cartoon shows, unless on like a streaming service, it's not as good anymore. But because we come back from the days where Justice League was a great show and it was great to rewatch as an adult. Batman animated series, same thing. Superman animated series, same thing. Even like the X-Men cartoons. Mm-hmm. So the newer shows get a little bit of stereotype. They're not as good to rewatch. But as I said, Ray has watched the show plenty. I have actually only, I've seen bits of the show. So he convinced me to watch it. So I was who hasn't really watched the whole entire show. And then Ray's giving the perspective of somebody who is a fan of the show. So what's going on with this? I could be the everyman in this situation, right? I don't know. So I'll start us off. So the episode is excellent because one, I have to say, and I'm gonna time I do have it written down in my notes. One of my favorite parts of the show already. It stars one of my favorite actors as a child, Will Friedle.
Yes.
Who played my favorite character, my favorite world, Eric Matthews, the big brother. Also, everybody, comic book fans know him as Batman Beyond, and also the Blue Beetle and Batman Brave and the Bold. So, he's my favorite actor, Ray, in live action, Boy Meets World, and in the animated. So, what kind of this guy not do?
How do you like my Star-Lord?
I know he was great. So, he plays he's good at like the comedic parts, and then like classic Star-Lord, like you have somebody arguing with him, and he's like, "Come on," he's trying to get guys to agree.
Yeah,
he's very good at that part. Mm-hmm. So just a little tip for everybody out there. But the episode overall was excellent. Like it plays into, Ray mentioned it in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Click the link down below; it should be there, unless our corporate messes this up again with links. But he, Star-Lord's thinking about Christmas back on Earth. He always wanted, of course, every kid wanted to sleigh, and he's looking back on it. And then they have a classic tale of like, the Guardians. Of course, they have to make a couple bucks, right? They're kind of a little bit like heroes for hire, right? We would say like a bounty hunter kind
of. The contract, not like
the contract. So they have to capture this guy, and of course, it's not simple. This he's not a twirling evil villain, right? He seems like an innocent person. And then they realize on the right side of this contract, of this deal, and that they want to, and then they meet the guy who put up the bounty, and they realize he's kind of selfish. He owns a lot of things, and they're trying to get back to people who really need it. So it's kind of a little bit like the classic Christmas story, I would say. And Ray brought a good point when he tried to convince me to watch the show, that it's not only a great. It brings a little bit of not Easter eggs, references. If you're somebody who watches Christmas content regularly, like Christmas Carol, things like that, and it gives you a little twist, and it
Right.
acknowledges that people like they watch that every year. So that's what I think is the best part of the show is how they acknowledge like people like me and Ray. Like we all know the Christmas Carol story, right? But
Yeah.
they give us a little bit of like a twist with the Guardians.
Like
So
a space
that's
too.
why I really like it.
Exactly.
So Ray, so I basically gave the layout to like why somebody who's a comic book fan, a Guardians fan, should watch, even just a single episode for the holidays.
Yeah.
What did you really enjoy about this episode in general?
Yeah. Like the Guardians holiday, especially like it kind of like brings a perspective of the other Guardians. Like they don't know what Christmas is, so like
Hmm.
you get like that kind of funny because obviously Peter's the only human in the team, and the
Yeah,
only human like that he know like that the Guardians even know. So like they're like it's like that kind of funny dynamic that you kind of get where like they don't know what
hmm
Christmas is, but they try to cheer him up. And then
yeah,
the actual like not he's not like a villain, but he's like the main bad guy of the
yeah,
episode. His name is Isa, so you kind of get like he's kind of like Ebenezer Scrooge, where
yeah, exactly.
like he um like he takes all the people's like goods and stuff and like hides them in his like big what do you say, like a compound or something like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
kind of like a little vault of his own.
yeah, he has like a vault. And so there's like this village that lives nearby, and like you said, it's kind of like that classic Christmas story feel, where like the ending is like feel good, where like the
Hmm.
people get all their stuff back, and they bring the joy of Christmas to like these
Yeah,
this random alien
little
village
village.
in the middle of like some random planet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like even though like it's not like almost like Guardians holidays, well even like the Guardians holiday special took place on Earth, so like the fact that the show managed to like bring like a Christmas story to the Guardians, even in space, was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's why I like it.
It brings like even more the definition of like what this time of year means, right?
Yeah.
'Cause these people
Mhm.
don't know like what it is. And one part I like you to add on is like remember the beginning, like Peter, he's like the guy's like, no, don't take me back. I need this for my family.
Mhm.
And then Peter's like, you should have thought of that before. And then Peter's kind of like a little bit like he doesn't care about this like his family, like he's trying to look out for himself, right? He's
Yeah.
trying to make the money. And then
Mhm.
by the end of the show, right, he's like, you know what, guys, you gotta help this village.
Yeah. Like almost, and then you also get that angle where they show Peter's mother, which kind of adds like a like you were saying, like he wanted that gift from his mother, so like it adds a little like a little emotion to the episode.
Hmm.
His obviously his mother died, so it adds like a little more characterization to Peter that you don't really get in the movies too much either. Oh, of the first
Yeah.
movie, but not even in the Guardians, like in the holiday special. Like obviously Yondu was the focus of that, but in this
Hmm.
one it's his mother. So
Also, like they made it really, really easy to understand. Like Ray has watched the show. I've only seen clips on YouTube.
mm-hmm.
So I would say maybe I'm like more like the average viewer. And they made it extremely easy to like jump in. Like you didn't have to know anything.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't like, oh, they're in the middle of pursuit of Kang, and then all of a sudden this Christmas episode shows up.
I think because
Uh,
it's technically it's the finale of the season, but like when you watch the actual show, like the episode before is technically like the finale of the because the show
yeah.
actually has like an overarching plot. So like the
Hmm.
episode before that ended the season, but this is just kind of like an add-on bonus. Like I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh, there's another episode, and then I was like,
How are they
the
gonna?
season
Yeah,
just like the whole plot line ended. I'm like, how are they gonna finish it off again? And then I was like, oh, it's its
yeah.
own
It's just
Christmas thing.
separate. Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing I also liked. Do you remember the scene? So like this. So Ray says like they go to the vault, right? This the vault's introduced by the Scrooge like character.
yeah, Ebenezer.
Yeah, and then what's it called? And then it's like you and I always say like you need that character. It always depends. It's hard. It's a little bit. You and I were saying it's a little bit more difficult to do with like characters that are established, like you
Yeah,
know them before, like Guardians.
Mhm.
For example, like there's 25 episodes before this,
Yeah.
and but they use like the whole they don't know about Christmas thing to create the type. Like for example, like they have the vault, and then they look at the vault, and then Rocket is like, I get to pick. You know, he's like, this is what I
Mhm.
want. You know,
Yeah.
and then everybody's like, why don't you think of something we all need? And he's kind of like the character like you get like in a Christmas story, where it's like the kid who's just like, oh, he boy
Yeah.
or something like
Exactly.
that. You know, and then like
Mhm.
you know, like and then Peter's like, why don't you think about us for 1 second? You know, so, so I think they kind of did a good job of like making them or like also like you and I said like in every classic Christmas movie, most of them, you know, there's a good chunk that they always have to have a character who like doesn't know what the holiday really means,
Yeah.
and then by the end they kind of know what it means.
Mhm.
So it's very easy to use the Guardians because you know literally they do not know what this holiday is, right?
Yeah.
Like they have so basically like the Christmas Carol. I think it's probably the most popular story in terms of
Yeah.
Christmas.
Uh-huh.
They like just make they point out things about it all the time. Like there's that part where like they're literally all of them are watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And remember Rocket's like, how does this end? And they're like, you know, it's kind of like a kid watching it for the first time.
Mhm.
So yeah. And then they have the synopsis for the episode. It's basically it's a heist.
Yeah.
It's like another twist, like you said. It's a Christmas story. It's like a Christmas based story, but it has like ribbons of Guardians of the Galaxy characters throughout it.
Yeah. And like the whole Christmas like the whole like Christmas plot isn't as overt as like the holiday special. Like you know what I mean? Like the holiday special is all about them trying to get Kevin Bacon as a gift for Peter, but like
Yeah,
this
like
one,
Kevin Bacon is not going like them getting Kevin Bacon is not going to solve anything of like their problems.
no, like because
Yeah,
like this actually has like something to do with like how the Guardians operate. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like you get
Like
like
there's
the
good, there's bad.
yeah, and like you know you also get like the like you were saying like the different perspectives of each Guardian, like and like I was surprised like in the holiday special like they never like even talk about like Drax with his kid or anything like you know like because that's like a big part of his character and like
Yeah, and then you would
you
think,
know
oh, the like, oh, it's somewhat easy to tie. But
yeah mm-hmm.
yeah, I think we did a great job you know, of just like putting them in there, and it made sense, like you said, right? Like the Guardians Holiday Special, like you and I addressed it. Click on the link down below to listen to our thing. Uh,
Yeah
but like it's kind of like we enjoy the holiday special because there's no villain, there's no bad guys. It's
yeah
just seeing them on Christmas, basically.
mm-hmm.
And of course, we all know there's, you know, Mike wasn't there, but he would address it immediately. There's gonna be that guy who's like, oh man, there's nothing that gets the MCU going, you know.
yeah
But this one, it does like have more plot. Like it's another the Guardians are trying to help. So
yeah and like like in classic Guardians fashion like you know the whole thing goes wrong and then you know
yeah,
like it's you know it's funny too like it's not like obviously the Guardians are like a pretty funny you know comic
yeah.
book
There's some mischievousness in the show. Yeah,
yeah mm-hmm. And like
yeah.
obviously like in every Guardians adaptation the characters obviously interact like you know Groot Rocket like they
Mm-hmm.
was their like little thing going on and then Groot's kind of like the big kid in the group you know
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
shows in this too
And like you said, it kind of plays into like they're a little bit of like a family, like a team family, a little bit.
yeah
Yeah. So, basically, I think we. Is there anything else you want to add on, Ray, about the episode? 'Cause I think
the
we.
episode itself I think like overall like you said like it's just a good Christmas episode like it's only 20 minutes like there's nothing to lose from watching it and plus I think
Hmm.
it's kind of like a good introduction to the show like because it's not really connected to the bigger plot you kind of like
Yeah,
get a feel of how the characters are and stuff
yeah.
or
It
like
has the
the way they
characters, a
sound,
little bit of act,
the
right?
animation and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's a good
the
introduction to the
pacing.
show without actually having to like get into the show itself. So
Hmm. And like you and I said, the tough thing about like all these superhero shows is like the tones will be like all over the place, right?
yeah,
Like one iteration of Batman will be very funny. One will not be funny at all. One will be
yeah,
super serious. Like
mm-hmm.
and you and I were saying like that's kind of like nowadays it's been like how people define like how a show.
if it's
So
serious.
yeah, so then this episode,
It gives you a great look at them.
yeah, what you like and stuff. So.
And
And
the show itself obviously isn't serious.
mhm. And then you said right, it's like all we're trying to do here, and I don't know if you guys get this by our trailer breakdowns. We're just trying to educate you a little bit on what to
Yeah.
expect. That's all we're doing
And
here.
also,
And Ray, a lot of his knowledge, you're like, wow, how is Ray in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer breakdown? Link the description down below. How is he able to be like, bang, high evolutionary, bang, bang, bang,
Yeah.
Rocket's background, bang? That is how. That's his secret, everybody.
yeah, the show actually is really good in like explaining like all that stuff.
Mhm.
So it's
So
really
yeah,
it's obviously it's like I know people like are pretty like closed minded when it comes to like cartoons.
yeah,
especially comic
100%.
fans. Like they like
It's
either
not
the
worth
movie,
my time.
yeah, like it's either the movies or it's like this like
Nothing.
the live action shows like Daredevil, or it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
But like the cartoons are really good sources of like information and lore,
Hmm.
like, and you get different adaptations and stuff like
Yeah.
that you wouldn't get in movies.
I think you said it best. It's like it's the lore, right? Like I remember we are breaking down, not breaking down. We guess we did like a holiday. We did a review of the holiday special,
Mm-hmm.
and then you kept saying like, it's not that it's not original. It was very original, like the way they did Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
But you were like the concept of like a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas thing. It's not like it's so obscene. Like
yeah, it's not foreign to me. Like I've seen it
yeah,
before.
like everybody's like, whoa, what are they doing? And then you were like, yeah, it's not impossible. Like they've
Yeah,
done it.
exactly. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this is nothing new.
Yeah, like it's so good. It's like I remember you're like the lead up. You're like it's still gonna be good. It's just like whoa, this is totally different and new. And you're like it's been
Yeah,
done. Something similar.
yeah. Now,
So
do you think the holiday special was better in terms of Christmas, or that this episode? Like, what do you think is better
in
in terms of
terms of
Guardians?
good question, I think in terms of pure Christmas,
Yeah,
this one because it has like the classic tale. They do a twist on a story. The holiday special still has many elements. Like you and I thought the ending was perfect, like the way the
yeah,
last line and stuff like that, and it has
exactly.
music. But
Yeah,
this one has like it's a twist, and then it still has like the whole appeal of Guardians of the Galaxy with Christmas, which is like they don't know what Christmas is, so they
yeah,
still keep it. The only so because I thought you were originally gonna say which one I liked better, and I
mm-hmm.
would have said the holiday special because Kevin Bacon I thought was like just a
Yeah,
hilarious idea.
mm-hmm.
But in terms of Christmas, like the values, the twist, is this one.
Yeah. Like I feel like this one encompasses like more of like the classic Christmas story better. Because like
Exactly,
the holiday
exactly.
special was like weird, you know what I mean? Like, but kind of
Yeah, and
kind of like the Guardians in the MCU, like that's like kind of like classic fashion of them. Like, it's like
yeah,
a weird, funny story. But like this one is more like if you're trying to get like a feel good classic Christmas story, I would say go with
exactly,
this.
exactly.
Like, but they're both good, but
Yeah, yeah. It's like
they're kind of
little, like I think the only reason why I think the holiday special is like I like them better because it's a little. Like you and I are saying like it's like obscenely like funny, like it's like slapstick
yeah.
comedy.
Mm-hmm. Like
Obviously, you
the
cannot do
show the
that in a
show plays it
cartoon.
safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Like
Like,
obviously like James Gunn has a weird mind, so
mm.
whatever he comes
Al-
out with is always weird.
also like if you're a kid, right, who really enjoy like we see all the time, Guardians of the Galaxy is probably like one of the most popular franchises in the MCU.
Yeah,
So like we see kids all the time. They love Groot. They love Rocket.
yeah,
But I was thinking to myself, even though we really enjoy the holiday special, I don't know if they would be like, "Ha ha, Kevin Bacon."
yeah,
Like kids don't
exactly.
pay attention to those lines and stuff.
Yeah, like I feel like the holiday special wasn't exactly like kid friendly, and I see what you mean.
Yeah, like it's still they're gonna enjoy the moments
Hmm.
of like the lines and stuff, but they're not gonna enjoy like you and I were like, there's such appreciation that they got a guy who is constantly being referenced throughout the movies.
Yeah,
But kids don't pay attention. But this
no,
one, I think, like you could put it on, like during Christmas Day, like the in betweens of like dinner and
yeah,
opening your presents, and then like they'll enjoy it. So
and like like I was like, also like that's not to say like the actual episode is only for kids. Like I think there's a lot to be, it's actually really fun for adults too.
Yeah.
Like there's always like we are saying, like there's always that like stereotype for cartoons that, oh, it's only for kids, it's kiddie,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna get anything out of it, but I feel like honestly you can get a lot out of them. So I think cartoons are some of the best comic book media, just because like you can do things you can't do in live action.
Yeah. Oh, guys, Ray's gonna get his animated propaganda going.
But
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So,
sure we're gonna. So for the viewer out there, Ray and I are doing back-to-back recordings. So we're doing the Guardians one, and then I'm gonna close this one out because I think Ray and I have pretty much squeezed the lemon as much as we can on this.
yeah, it's a 20-minute episode.
Yeah. So and then our review is gonna be 20 minutes, but
yeah.
The next one we're gonna do is Batman the Animated Series, and that's like the one that we really really want to do.
Yeah.
But I'm very sure if you want to, I'm not gonna give too much, but I'm like, we haven't recorded it yet, but I'm 100% sure Ray will get more into his whole animated shows versus live action debate thing more in the next episode. So if you really enjoy that, please tune into that as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna close it out. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. We have no more to add, I think, right? We're gonna continue on.
I was just gonna say, check out the show if you like it. If you like this episode, the actual show is really good. So
Yes, I'm gonna watch it. So
yeah.
that's how much you convinced me, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed making it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and all of our podcasting platforms. You subscribe, it makes a better product, and if we make you guys happier, and it makes us happier. Go watch the Guardians of the Galaxy animated series, and please go watch or listen to our Batman the Animated Series Christmas with the Joker episode analysis. See you all next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like what you were listening to, please subscribe to Fans Assemble. And if you can, please give us a rating. Do it for the audio world. They need you.